I've got some good news, some very good news.
Bring it.
Thanks to the absolutely, not exponential, I'm going bigger, the meteoric rise of our podcast, I got a sponsor for us.
A sponsor?
Yeah, no, I'm not just a talking head. I beat the bushes. I got a sponsor for us. They specifically said not programmatic. They want it post-read. So can I?
Oh, yeah.
Paid sponsor?
Feel free.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I feel like I should probably be a bit better organized for this. Give me 1 second as I find it. Oh, there it is. This episode of Brand Champions is sponsored by QUESTUS, who reminds you, you've tried the restus, now try the bestest. Where? Roll the credits.
3, 2, 1, go!
Here's the first topic we want to talk about. Let me bring us through a few pieces of research and articles that we found recently. We've all seen that Yankelovich study that everyone talks about, right? The average person sees 5,000 branded messages per day. I recently saw an update on this through a company called Citify. These numbers are continuing to grow profoundly. 1/4 of people see more than 10,000 branded messages per day. It's almost perpetual, right? And then one caught my eye because you talk about this a lot. It's in Wall Street Journal by Megan Bobrowski and Patrick Coffey. Meta aims to fully automate ad creation using AI. ABC News, an article by Nathan Smith, has an article that says AI influencers compete for followers and brand deals on social media, right? So it's not even more influencers, it's now fake influencers. And then have you seen this one that came to life from Fast Company? This corny conservative credit card ad signals a very scary future for AI. Have you seen this?
Yes, I did actually.
Let's roll this ad. I think it's about 15 seconds long.
How are you going to spend right today?
Ribs, chicken, and some alligator for the big game.
I've bought new camo for deer season.
Gold. I've bought a lot of gold.
So here's my question, Jordan. In a world with mathematically exponentially growing content to the point where it's not just human beings creating cheap content, now AI is creating cheap content. It's not even AI fueling humans, it's just AI creating content. The biggest companies in the world, billions of dollars being invested. What is the implication of all this for major brands?
Yeah, the implication is you and I are probably going to get divorced and have virtual girlfriends, and they're going to tell us how handsome we are every single day.
Wait, they have that technology?
Soon enough.
I don't know about you, but that's all my wife ever tells me. You are so smart and so funny and so handsome.
Totally.
It's like daily.
Can you count on the number of times like your wife has, paid you like a compliment that set you back?
My son said smart to me the other day. I came up with something. He's like, smart. I'm like, damn, dude.
You'll never
16 years. First time ever.
And you'll never forget it.
Oh, no. Are you kidding? My kid called me smart. He didn't call me smart.
Totally.
He said that moment, whatever I said was kind of smart.
Yeah.
I could ride that out for a decade of joy.
Right.
We're already off topic, dude.
We are. Yeah. Let's get back to topic. AI implication for brands. I don't think it's the implication for brands. I think it's like the implication for consumers. It will, all of our live action is going to go away. It's gone. It's all
Will
gone.
social media be ruined? Right? When we love social media because we know it's real, but when the vast majority of it is fake, does all of a sudden, and social media is basically, in my mind, dead. It's not really social media. It's just snackable media, whatever. It's delivered through Instagram. But is that going to be dead because of all this content?
It's a great question. I still think there's going to be a need, kind of like in TV, like, all the cable news programs, they're all going to go away. That's 90% right, but you're not going to replace sports, right? You're not going to replace certain content programming that you just have to have, right? And there's no substitute for it. with AI and those influencers, I think you're right. Like somebody is going to go hike Mount Kilimanjaro. Like, yes, I don't think AI is going to do it justice. Also, I know you and I both love like fail videos. So somebody falls off a bike, right? Accident happens. We're laughing.
You know why those videos are great? Because they're real, and you know somebody
Yes.
failed so painfully. But if
Yes.
you're questioning in the back of your mind whether that really happened, doesn't that take the fun out of it? Like, I love hockey fights and UFC. It's so weird. Like, Instagram really looks right into your soul. I have cooking recipes, UFC fights, and hockey fights. Like, that's my whole feed at this point. Like, it knows what I love. But, like, if you don't know that hockey fight is real, if you don't know those fails are real, it takes the joy out of it.
What if it's fake, but you think it's real? Is your joy still the same?
No, because I think anytime you're second guessing whether or not it's real, I think it takes the joy out of it.
So like it has to, you have to somehow figure out, or the publisher or platform does, signal to you that it's real. Like you're going to look for that first.
If they can do it. Think about that. Think about a fail in a movie and think about a fail that somehow somebody captured on film and you see on Instagram. The latter is much more fun than watching it on a movie when it's scripted. But how do you know when things are real?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not going to matter. Entertainment, dopamine hit, that's all that matters. And you are going to be just fine whenever this happens with watching a video that looks 100% real, but it's not.
Nobody's going to give a shit. As long as somebody's failing or fighting or cooking a recipe or whatever, you don't care.
Well, think about it. Like it's the creative element to come up with that, whether AI did it or you had a great prompt you wanted to write, like that's the creativity. The creative output is what AI creates, and it's hilarious. So
these are one of those moments where I'm like, nah, Jordan's wrong. And then 10 years later, I'm like, Jordan was right. I was wrong again. Like only time will tell. But every time we have these conversations, I always turn out to be wrong. And then I'm like, damn it, Jordan was right. I remember arguing back in the day, and you're like, dude, video is the future of the internet. I was like, this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. Everybody wants to read articles. Who doesn't want to read articles about the New York Jets on ESPN all day? You're like, nah, dude, it's going video. Like 10 years later, I'm looking, I'm like, damn it, I'm wrong.
Yep. You will be watching a Jets podcast that is done by an AI influencer, because they're out there now, right? They will be hilarious, like funny. They might even be personalized to what you respond to. Like think about it that way. Right now, it's just one size fits all. But what if this whole person, guy, whoever he is, right, is completely catered to you?
No, 100%. I'm down with that, right? Like take the things
it'll
I'm
replace.
Take the things I'm into besides hockey fights. New York Jets, I'm a loser. I get it. But if there was something that can decipher the Jets at the angle that I like the Jets, maybe it's a little bit more quantitative, like let's get really dorky, I'm down with it.
Yeah.
Food, cooking, music. I can take an AI influencer all day long. Why wouldn't I want that higher quality, that customization? But some of the other stuff that's just like, that's not my whole feed. My feed is very much a lot of weird, quirky stuff that's just entertainment, just snack food for the brain.
But imagine how much better your AI influencer would be if it was not just a pre-taped podcast, but a live interview with your guy who can just talk for an hour if you want him to, or you can be like, hold on, stop, go deeper there. And he goes deeper. Think about like a travel.
Not just a feed, like I'm talking to the guy. Why wouldn't I talk to the guy? Because I already talked to ChatGPT, but why not humanize the whole thing?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'd like you to bring in a host that has a different point of view, right? In pops a host. Think about a travel video. I want to show me a travel video of somebody walking through the steps of Rome, right? On Sunday night, right? And go through whatever it is, any sort of Roman landmark. And then you're like, go in that store. He's like, no problem. Let's go. And the stores are the real store.
Rome like 7 times and you couldn't think of one landmark just now.
Oh, totally. What is it? The Spanish Steps. I think that's like a fancy area. There's like all the, Gucci's and whatnot down that street. But like, yeah, walk down the street and like, let's pop into a store. Oh no, like I want you to go have dinner. No problem. Tell me how the food is. And the food that he's trying is the exact food that's on the menu at that restaurant.
Well, that's the crazy So first of all, on the plus side, the other thing it could do, I just thought of, it's going to start reading some input from your face and understand when your concentration is waning.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to change the
Oh, yeah.
topic, give me the novelty factor. Like this Rosenblum guy, we need something fresh every 6 seconds.
Totally. Somebody better trip and fall quick. Otherwise, Rosenblum's going to stop watching.
Is that the Spanish steps? Like somebody's got to fall down those quick.
Totally. Yes.
But what is the implication for brands, right? Like
Yeah.
if we think about our audience and what we're trying to accomplish in this massive proliferation of content, to the point of information overload just becoming more than we could ever even imagine. Like, what is the implication?
I think the first phase is more content that is personalized to specific audiences. Because if I can create a 30-second spot, right, at a fraction of the cost, then I can actually create multiple different spots for my different audiences. I think that is the first thing that's going to happen with this technology. And you've seen the progression over even the last 3 weeks. The videos that are coming out are shockingly perfect.
Dude, it's hard to believe that, I don't know, what was it, 3 months ago, they couldn't make a hand without 6 fingers? And now everything, like, if you're older than 65, there's no way you could pick up the difference in between AI and reality.
Not even close. Not even to talk about the implications like politically and unrest and, fake videos, which that movie Mountainhead goes into. That is certainly coming. Regulation is going to have to come with this, but let's just put regulation aside, right? We're just talking about advertising. From a brand standpoint, I think that's like the first phase. Maybe the third or fourth phase is the content is personalized to you, right? Yeah. And what we know about you.
Truly one-to-one.
Truly one-to-one. I think that's where Zuckerberg's going, right? When Zuckerberg talks about like this vision, he's only laying out the very first phase of this, which is tell us your goal, tell us how much you want to spend, tell us about your product. We'll develop the whole media strategy and all the creative and execute it, and we'll just drive revenue, right? Or eyeballs to your landing page. That's just phase one. I think he is seeing well beyond this in 10 years' time, where he's going to deliver personalized ads to every single one of his billions of users.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fascinating when you think about it, right? Like if you just go through the history of advertising, it was 3 major networks and you just tried to reach everybody. And then they tried to boil it down to some demographics by saying, hey, let's create a soap opera, but they're trying to reach females. And then like cable comes along, and then there's ESPN and they're trying to reach males. And then there's the internet comes along, and it's not just enough to reach males, but you need to reach male sportsmen, reach male motorcycle riders. And we've really been headed to this point, as you describe it, which is from mass media to from mass media to demographic targeting, and then to psychographic targeting, and then to persona-based targeting. But it's all about narrow casting down to the one-to-one basis. And I think we're probably not far away, a couple of years.
I don't think so. I mean, the only thing that might be holding it up is will users accept it? Are users going to be okay with watching influencers, actors, right, hawking goods, and they're not real? And my answer is yes, 100%.
This is a messed up word. I'm probably going to talk about it later. It all comes down to empowerment or value, which is like, I think if you're using AI to, let's say you're an outdoor sports and apparel company, and you're using AI to make someone ski the craziest shoot ever, I don't think that's appealing because you need to know there's a human there. But if you're using AI later to say what makes that ski or that outdoor gear and apparel different and better on a one-to-one basis, the reason I buy skis is different than the reason you buy skis, why wouldn't I want AI? Like, dude, tell me what the material is. Tell me how I ski better the way I ski compared to you, you know?
Totally. And like this whole hurdle of, well, AI can't say replicate my product perfectly. So Suzuki Motorcycles, our client, like, no, every nut and bolt, like at this point is not perfect, but that's going to change. Like it will be a perfect replica where you're not going to get consumer lawsuits like, well, the product in the ad was not the same as what I actually bought it. I think that hurdle will be surmounted. And at the end of the day, you will be left with, I think, an onslaught of the most creative content from movies to advertisements that we will ever see. I am so bullish on like what's going to be unleashed because there's so many constraints to what we can do, right?
Yeah.
From how you shoot it to how you edit it to the time you're given, like to the actors you can hire, the people you can cast, the sets, the locations you can go to, all of that is gone.
Yeah.
Which
Have you
means
seen the
that
latest update to Instagram? The president of Instagram, I literally saw it today. There's new features, and he's like, you can change where you are. You're on a beach. Click, all of a sudden, like, everything's on a beach. You can be on a mountain. Everything's on a mountain. And it's not like your Zoom background. You're like, oh, my God, that's totally seamless.
So the way you're going to figure out what you want to watch is how entertaining and how creative is it, right?
Yeah.
If everybody can do this, then the real hurdle then becomes creativity. Now, can AI do it on its own? Yet to be seen. We know we can produce the whatever we want, but can it tell a story in a way that is going to be sufficient for Adidas to say, that's the greatest ad I've ever put out, right? To hawk my lifestyle, whatever clothing, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be there? I think it's probably going to take some human input because here's the deal. Who's the judge at the end of the day, whether like it's awesome or not? Real people, human beings. So if we it either needs our input or it doesn't, I don't know what it's going to be, but I am bullish on the fact that we're going to see content, movies, shows, advertising that's going to blow our minds.
Yeah, 100%, one-to-one basis. Here's the thing that keeps me up at night, and there's a Wall Street Journal article by a guy named Patrick Coffey. And I mean, to take one word out of the headline, he uses the word PR for PR industry, but I think it works for any creative industry. It works for marketing and advertising. Will AI empower the PR industry or create endless seas of spam? And I think that's my biggest concern is that the way that we can use AI, and even before AI, I think we're turning everything into spam. The one that comes to mind and why I was messing around with the host read ad in the beginning. Do you remember the heyday of podcasts, which was just a couple of years ago during like COVID? And like we all had our favorite podcasts, like Rich Roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would do the host read ads, right? And he's talking about the human biome and he's pitching seed and you're like, oh, I got to get seed. Or like maybe like Joe Rogan and you're buying Athletic Greens. It doesn't matter. Like everyone had their favorite podcaster. They were doing the host read ads. You like that person, dictated by the fact you listen to that person. So you trust that person, they pitch it, you buy it. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second. We're not going to do the host read ads. We're going to do 30-second programmatic style banners. So now all of a sudden every podcast ad is like a radio ad, which is like a TV ad. It's 30 seconds. It's highly produced.
It's inserted in the middle.
And it's super micro targeted. And the ads that I hear are different than the ads that you hear. And all of that is appealing. It's appealing to make things more affordable, and it's appealing to make things more targeted. But when everything is affordable and everything is targeted, everything is turning into spam, in my opinion. It's like, even when I use Spotify, I'm like, how many pop-ups are going to be here before I get to just find the music that I want to listen to? Everything is spam. Podcasts are spam. Music is spam. Your email has always been spam. Websites are filled with spam. Like, spam is now not about your email. It's just about going through your journey of life and getting interrupted and targeted with cheap.
Yeah.
As an industry, I think we got to break this. Like, we got to lean into quality over quantity. We have to lean into strategy over targeting. Am I crazy on this?
No, I hear what you're saying. I almost kind of view this the same way music styles come in and out of flavor. This sounds weird, but like, you know, if everything goes towards this AI infused, everything looks amazing, content's great. It's kind of like when a music genre hits it really big, right? Like hip hop, rap, R&B, huge. And then all of a sudden people are like, all right, I need something different. Totally. And then all of a sudden rock, folk, or country, right, picks up. I think the same thing's going to happen.
Moth to the flame. Everybody rushes there to the point where it's busted.
Yeah. And then you have to try something new. So I still think it's going to be AI generated on the whole, with those outlier cases, kind of like live sports TVs, where I just want to hear a real person talk, right? But I think on the whole, I just think that, we have an amazing cognitive spam filter. You talk about this a lot. So, our ability to kind of filter shit out that doesn't matter to us, I think that's only going to get stronger. And with AI, we're going to go through a couple of years of like everybody building up their filter, but we're going to build that mentally, especially the young. And we'll be able to kind of filter out and figure out what we don't want to see, what we do want to see, what's fake, what's real, all that sort of stuff. And I think, it'll dictate the type of, creative that's popular in the world, and it will go back and forth.
Totally. Well, everything old is new again, which I think segues over to a couple of recent articles that two of us have found. There's this one in Wall Street Journal by a writer named Jennifer Williams. Shop slow, spend more. The retailer's hoping that customers linger. With the subtitle of Retailers are adding VIP lounges, coffee bars, and lawns to locations to get shoppers to stay longer. So we're seeing a lot more emphasis on retail or expanding and redefining retail. Is that congruent with what you're describing?
I mean, it's all about like the experience economy, right? I just see it as an extension, right? Okay, if vacations are supposed to be about experiences, or supposed to spend my credit card reward points, not on cash back, but on great tickets to some concert, I just think it's like an extension of like, okay, how can we take the retail shopping experience and make it experiential? I don't know about you. Like, I can't stand it when people in the store are like, can I help you? Are you looking for anything in particular today?
Yeah.
What brings you in?
Off and leave me alone.
It's totally. Stop.
Stop. Yes. Dude. There's a mainstay brand every dude knows. There's no need to call him on the carpet. But you walk in, I'm like, everybody in the store is so clearly paid on commission. Get the out of my face, dude. Just leave me alone. I see you. I will come to you. Right?
Totally.
Like it's the upside down business models where they're focused on their own revenue, not focusing on providing value to the audience.
Yes. You can offer me water. I've been offered champagne, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. I totally agree with you about like everybody's paid on commission, especially when you go to check out. Oh, who helped you today?
Yeah.
Oh, I see how this works.
100%.
Yes. Everybody did. Everybody here in the store who's working helped me today.
100%. Your brand helped me. All right. So let's use that to segue over to a topic that you and I have now wrestled with for a quarter of a century. There's an article in Fast Company by James Surowiecki, and it's titled How Business for Good Went Bad and What Comes Next. You get a chance to check that one out?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
What do you think of this thing?
This is like the whole not backlash, but like brands figuring out consumers actually, they care about you doing good, but they're not going to base their buying decisions off of, is my brand doing good?
Dude, can I just repeat that? They care about you doing good, but they're not going to change their buying decisions based upon you doing
That's
good.
what the research shows. Oh, I love that they're doing
statement ever in this crazy world.
Yes. I love Patagonia. They're amazing. Sorry, Patagonia. But when it comes down to it, I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend $700 on your organic, Alaskan sourced hemp seed overalls, right? When I can buy the same damn ones down the street for a quarter of the price.
Totally.
They don't do it.
It works for a few brands. It does work for Patagonia, right? And they're very niche and very wealthy target audience. The line I always use is, people don't want brands to hug the trees and save the manatees. Like, it would be nice if every brand did. But I think at the end of the day, what people are really asking for is improve my life one small step at a time. Like, one of the great indisputable truths in our industry is that people are really selfish, and there's nothing wrong with that. Every creature on this planet is selfish. We're here for our own survival and our own advancement. And when we start swimming against that, we create damage for our brands. Like, Dude, this may be delusions of grandeur, but sometimes I feel responsible for this because, like, we made the naked brand. And the point of the naked brand is that brands are transparent. They can see through your 30-second spot. People are looking for something different. And we had these brands like Virgin America, right? Richard Branson changing the entire experience. Zappos leaning into customer service. But we also had, like, Patagonia in there. And so many people interpret this into a green story. And as much as I've been trying to, it's not a green story. That does work for some companies. I gave a presentation the other day. You saw it and like, you that one up, Rosenblum. Like, you're not being clear. Like, it's not a green story. It's not about saving the world. Like, it's about answering this one question, which is, how can I provide value to you in the category or as it relates to the brand? If you're in travel, how do I give people a better vacation? You're in finance. How do I give you better control of your finances? Like, if you want to save the world, that's fine. But first and foremost, you have to empower people. You have to bring value to their lives. You have to improve their lives one small step at a time.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, kudos for you. Go for it. Nothing wrong with it. But if that's your core val prop as a brand, right, I think you're going to find yourself on the losing end.
Unless you're a small hippie brand, and that's cool. But if you want to go public,
if Ben and Jerry's, if Ben and Jerry's, who was very much an activist brand, took their eye off of making great ice cream, right, or increased our prices, right, where it was 50% more than, let's say, the Haagen-Dazs right next to it in my supermarket aisle, like, forget it, you're done. But thank God Ben and Jerry's hasn't done that because the ice cream is still great.
That's a great point because, first of all, you and I were around for that. Like, we were in the backyard for the creation of Ben and Jerry's, living in Vermont, going to school together.
We met them. They would hang out at their very first store that we would go into.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I don't think I ever met them, right?
Oh, yeah. And then they would come on campus. Remember free ice cream Fridays, right? They would wheel the cart out. It was free ice cream for everybody who went to school at the University of Vermont, which is where we went. And in the middle of January,
the only time you or I ever went to campus was free ice
cream. In the middle of January, you really don't want ice cream. No, but kudos to them.
Yeah, but people lose sight of this part of it. At that time, there was a backlash against sugar and a backlash against fat.
Yep.
And people think like, oh my God, these hippies and they saved the world, which they did. And it's awesome. And it's kind of an anomaly because you got them, you got Patagonia, and not too many other brands have reached scale with that template. But the real thing is they're like, dude, what is ice cream about? It's about sugar and it's about fat. And if everybody wants to go no fat yogurt, we're going to cut against the grain and make an incredible product. So as much as they were saving the world, I would argue what their real secret to success was an amazing product.
Amazing product. Yep.
Amazing.
I feel great for the 3 minutes I'm eating it. Then I feel like absolute.
Yes. It's kind of worth it. You ever look at the calorie
count? Maybe that's the gene. Ever look at the what?
The calorie count on a Ben and Jerry's?
Jesus. Totally. Yes.
Oh my God. I did that last night. I'm like, dude, what a mistake. Why did I already ate it. There's nothing I can do.
Because everybody can sympathize with this. When you're alone in your house, your spouse is out, your girlfriend's out, whatever, 1 pint of ice cream can go down in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
There's no 4 servings in that thing. Please.
No. You stick yours in the microwave, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
Who wants to fight that thing? Like, make it soft so we can done in 5 minutes before the guilt kicks in.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. But I think here's the deal. Like, if I were to boil it down, I think it's about this lesson, which is not everything can be about talking about your brand. That eventually is critically important. But I think there's 2 questions you need to answer, which is 1, how do I help you as a customer get more value out of my category? And then the second question is, how do I help you get more value out of my brand? So if you work in travel, financial services, business to business, right? How do I help you get more value out of the category? How do I help you have a better vacation? How do I help you have better control of your finances? How do I help you perform better in business? Regardless of the brand. That's sort of your upper funnel message. It might be inspiration. It might be education. It's probably a combination thereof. And then sequentially, as people come through their journey, how do I help you get more value out of my brand? How do I help you understand the features, the functionality, the differentiators, which can be really complex, to your point, on a one-to-one basis, and bring it to life? That requires a massive amount of storytelling, and none of that is about saving the world. It's just about me bringing value to you as a human being.
100%. And I would say in that middle of the funnel, which you're talking about, like, yeah, be emotional, entertaining, aspiring, up funnel. But in the middle funnel, it doesn't even have to be expensive, right? It just has to be thorough, where it's meeting all of a consumer's unmet needs as they're going on their journey, right? And the brand that gives them this information first is the brand that's going to win. If you're a brand that like hides this information on your website or doesn't even have it, you're going to lose.
Yes.
It's that simple. Like, understand what the unmet needs are, fulfill those with the right content and messaging, and you'll win.
That's the greatest point ever. Because then you're creating cognitive dissonance for somebody to pull out. Be like, wait a second. Brand A was giving me answers to all the questions I have in this world. How do I have better control of my finances? How do I have a better vacation? How do I run my business better? How do I ski better? And then all of a sudden, some other brand, like, I can't pull out of that. I'm fully engaged. And we see that all the time in the metrics. Like, stronger engagement leads to stronger trust. And stronger trust leads to conversions in champion.
Yeah. You know what does it really well? You know, I know we've talked about DTC brands, but like, I'm on Instagram and I see these ads. And like, we're suckers for great Instagram ads. But you've got somebody looking in the camera telling me all about their product, right? And they've done all the research from all these pain points and barriers. And they're like one after another. They're just talking to me and like, it's like whack-a-mole, barrier, whack, barrier, whack, barrier, whack. By the end of the 60 seconds, I'm like, bye.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That whole journey, which used to be 18 months or 9 months, if you...
The 60-second journey.
Yeah, that whole journey that used to be 18 months or 9 months, truncated into 60 seconds. Why? Because of great content. Was there AI behind it? Possibly. But to your point, a massively important strategic and human layer.
I would say great content built on a great understanding of the customer, right? And what they need to go through it in 60 seconds.
Yes. And to your point, your whack-a-mole, your barriers are different than my barriers.
Totally.
Right? So how do we create enough content and then use AI to deliver it so that your barrier overcoming content is delivered to you and my barrier overcoming content is delivered to me? Easier said than done. Then there's lighter moments. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see there's an article in The Athletic by Brooks Peck. Max Homa is using a Chipotle burrito wrapper head cover at the memorial. Have you seen this?
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. I saw it.
Okay, just for those of you who are, for folks who don't see the visuals and are driving in their car, the millions of people driving in their car right now to our podcast, describe this ad or describe this piece of marketing in what you think about it.
So it's Chipotle delivers their burrito in certain packaging. I think everybody's been to Chipotle. You recognize it because, you know, you see people walking down the street, especially before COVID. Everybody had their burrito going back to their desk. It looks like a burrito. It fits over the driver cover. And like, I'm sure it was one of those moments where somebody was like, I have a great idea. And it was like, why the didn't we think of that 3 years ago?
Isn't that the whole thing with great marketing? Whenever I see great marketing, I literally have that same thought and I just get jealous. Like, damn it, we should have thought of that.
Yes.
Stroke of genius.
It's great. You know, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, the opportunity presents itself. Somebody had the great idea. I think it's perfect. Can we talk about like what I think is a huge missed opportunity from a brand over the last 2 months?
Yes. What?
Okay. You've watched Your Friends and Neighbors with John.
Great show.
Yeah.
Made me feel better about my body, right?
Yeah.
Seeing John Hamm not looking so good. I'm like, I look better than that guy.
Totally. Yes, dad bod personified. My wife was still very happy to see John Hamm on screen. He's great in that. When you're watching that and he does these like internal voice monologues as you're watching the footage.
Yes.
What did you think of?
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
Mercedes.
Oh.
He is the VO for Mercedes for I don't even know how long, a year, 2 years. Like, you will never watch a Mercedes ad the same way again. Like, because you're going to hear that voice and go, wait a minute, is that the guy from Your Friends and Neighbors or is that a Mercedes ad? And the car that he's driving is not a Mercedes, right? It's a Maserati.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how either Apple Plus didn't come to Mercedes, or maybe they did, right? Or Mercedes come to them. But that was like, wait a minute, the guy who is our voice for the last year is not driving a Mercedes in one of the most popular shows out there.
Yes.
Missed opportunity.
And it
Huge missed
kind of
opportunity.
goes in line with what we've been talking about. Like, the more you rely upon spam type opportunities, because it's cheap to produce and cheap to target, the more you miss things like, wait a second, there's this massive cognitive spam filter that goes on. He's got one of the great and most trusted voices ever.
Yep.
Everyone watches those Mercedes ads. Everyone hears those voices. And you can have a synergistic effect if you just put the Mercedes in the show. But somebody missed that opportunity.
Totally. Here, we're going to do this. Play 5 seconds of Your Friends and Neighbors. This is monologue. And then we're going to play 5 seconds of Mercedes ad.
You get the house, the cars, the stuff. But how the hell could everything go so wrong so fast? Technically, this is a car, though it has more code than an F-18.
How crazy is that? Like that is, it's the same tone, intonation, like everything. How is this, I can't be the only one who was wishing somewhere that Mercedes, I don't care, sponsored it, anything, but missed opportunity.
Dude, speaking of missed opportunities, you have to go back and watch Mad Men. I can't believe you never watched Mad Men. It's great, dude.
I did. I watched the first season. I know. It's awesome. Yeah, trust me. I loved it. I get bored. Can I be honest? I get bored with shows that the sets or locations never change.
Interesting. So
I mean,
John Hamm just moved to the other side of the country. You'd be like, I'm in. Because he does that, I think, in later seasons.
Well, think about Succession. Aside from a great, like, amazingly written show, every episode took place someplace completely different on the whole. You know? And I was like, okay, this is awesome. Then I go and I watch Shrinking, and I'm like, it's the same sets every time. I get visually bored.
It goes back to your point about the Max Homa burrito cover ad. Novelty factor.
Novelty.
So in a world, if you try to tie this all together, in a world where 5,000 messages per day, 10,000 branded messages per day, it's basically a cacophony. It's just spam everywhere.
Yeah.
What wins? The novelty factor. You have to keep it fresh and new. And
Totally.
to your point earlier, that only works for so long, because as soon as you create something fresh and new, every golfer now, like, they all copy Tiger. They all have little animals on there. Now they're going to sell that ad space. And it's going to be
100%.
cool for a year, and then it's going to be spam a year later.
Yes.
What's the novelty factor? What's fresh and new? How do we break through that cognitive spam filter?
Yeah, it's a good point. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, it's going to be copied all over the place.
Speaking of breaking through.
Yeah.
Your father's downstairs.
He is. My dad is here. My son is graduating high school, and I think he took a nap because he just got here. He's got to take a nap, of course. And then
Your dad took a nap?
Yeah, he took a nap. It's 3:20 where we are in the West Coast. In 45 minutes, he will ask if we can have a cocktail.
Oh, he's not on the second cocktail now.
No. Then he'll ask, like, literally halfway through dinner, if everybody's done, because he's tired. He wants to go to bed. Sorry, Dad.
I'll say this about your dad. First of all, I love him. Second of all, halfway through the first cocktail, he's going to start saying, dude, give me some Michigan gear, because your boy's going to Michigan. And can I just ask this? When you buy the Michigan gear for your dad, get me some gear.
I have creative license to get you whatever I want, right?
No, I want a fastball down the middle. The blue hat.
I know.
Yellow M.
And I can see the hat you're wearing, which, funny enough, I didn't know you were going to wear a hat today, but like, you like the curved brim, right? Not the big flat brim, puffy, whatever.
It's all the same hat. If you live on the East Coast, you bend your brim. If you live on the West Coast, you keep it flat. Straightforward. I had a great Michigan jersey, last jersey I ever bought. I would have been a guy who wore jerseys all the time till you and I started dating heavily and then got this thing. And you would be like, asshole, you can't wear a jersey. You look like a schmuck. So that was the last jersey I ever bought.
I don't own a single jersey. I thought you have thought about this. Like, I think I'll buy Michigan gear. You'll only see me wearing it when I visit Michigan.
No, you'll wear it around town, but you'll get literally the nicest sweatshirt that they sell.
Yeah, I got to be careful. Like my other son went to Cal Poly, great school. I don't wear their stuff.
Because Cal Poly is an awesome school, but it's not like they've got a famous football team or anything.
No, it's not.
That's
It's
fair.
not Michigan.
No, you
Two
get the Cal Poly
amazing
slide
schools.
rule and this Cal Poly calculator, dude. That's
Yeah.
a great school, but like it's not known for the gear.
Well said. And I think I owe something to my son who went to Cal Poly because that school is an eighth of the price of Michigan. So,
God bless him. Let's go spend the
bless
extra money that you saved.
yeah, well said.
Yeah, we'll end on that note. Thanks for listening to Brand Champions. Have a great day.
Thanks, y'all.
Brand Champions is a QUESTUS production. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and review wherever you tune in. You can submit mailbag questions to brandchampions@questus.com.